Hello and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. Today I will be doing a recap of W.A.G.S To Riches, Season 1, Episode 8, the final chapter. And before I get started, um, can you put a one in the chat if you can hear me? Please put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Hey, Mama Bees, thank you so much for being here, my moderator. And hey, Soundcheck Annette, thank you so much for being here, sis. Can I get a one in the chat if you can hear me, guys? All right, perfect. And yes, Soundcheck Annette is in the office today, so she'll be listening in the bushes. Not a problem. Okay. So episode 8 um started off with Kita and her mom Alicia. They were in the kitchen. Kita was cooking and they were just conversating about pregnancy, breastfeeding, the effects of breastfeeding, pregnancy, weight gain. And keep in mind, this was, filmed, a while ago. So she's already had the baby. I follow her on Instagram. So she did post pics of her new baby. But is it me or does the mothers on this show like they're kind of cringe because these mothers are trying to teach their daughters how to keep their man by any means necessary. Just like the conversation that MJ had with her mother, Kita's mom was basically saying something very similar to the, fact of, no matter who you decide to be with, marry, whatever the case may be, all men cheat. So these mothers, it's giving that I am enjoying the lifestyle that you're helping to provide for me, and I don't want to lose this lifestyle. So, all men cheat. So you just need to ignore, you know, the fact of your man cheating and, enjoy this lavish lifestyle that we are able to, have. So that's what Kita's mom was giving me. And she also focused a lot on, baby weight. So basically, she was monitoring what she eats and letting her know that baby weight is hard to get off. So she has to watch what she eats so that she doesn't gain a lot of baby fat after, and that's hard to get rid of after she has the baby. And during that scene as well, they showed a clip of her husband being arrested and roughed up by the police, but he called his manager or whatever, and he came to the scene. So eventually, they let him go, and he was able to go on and play in the game that he was headed to. So in the next scene, Alexis was on her date with Jonathan, who is a former NFL player. So he invited her over to his crib for a date, and they're cooking dinner together in the kitchen. Very sensual. The chemistry is on point. And when she arrives, she brings him a gift, which just happens to be a candle, which is something I would do. I love candles. And they shared some very transparent conversations about dating. Hey, Cece, thank you so much for being here, sis. Hey, Kicking It with Courtney, thank you so much for being here, sis. So yes, they shared some very transparent conversations about dating, and she asked him, does he invite women over to his house often? Of course, when you're getting to know somebody, you kind of want to know these things. You want to know if you're special. Is it something that he does all the time? So yes. And she also asked him, what are some non-negotiables? So he told her that initially he didn't want to date somebody with kids because they would always put someone before him, meaning the kids, and there's always the possibility that the baby daddy could always run back. Okay. Because you know that saying, the baby daddy can always get it, whatever the case may be. So he didn't really want to date, anybody that had kids because he didn't want those problems. Okay. So he was being very transparent about that. And she appreciated that. She said, that's fair, and she quickly let him know that not over here. Um, so then he wanted to know when was the last time she's been with her ex-husband. And she told him it was prior to her divorce, which was years ago, like more than 6 years. So she's only been divorced for 4 years, but she was letting him know that it's been over 6 years since, there was intimacy between her and her ex-husband. And Alexis, in her confessional, she says that he checks off most of the boxes. So she's really excited about getting to know this gentleman. So again, the chemistry was nice, and obviously they both had butterflies, and they shared a lot of closeness and intimacy while still taking their time and being patient. And when I say intimacy, I don't mean like kissing or any sexual activities, just kind of, he was standing behind her, just kind of holding her, so that way they can kind of see if the chemistry is there. Hey, Alf MC, thank you so much for being here, sis. So, on to Kita's volleyball bash on Miami Beach. So, the usual crowd showed up: Ashley, Portia, Alexis, Sherelle, and obviously Kita because she was hosting the events. Everybody was in attendance. They brought their husbands, they brought their kids. Some, not all, but most of them had their kids. And MJ showed up late as usual, and so did Sade and Chosen. So Jules, who was invited by Sade, she shows up with her entourage, which included Ryan Garcia, who is a professional boxer who is known to be racist. So, I definitely agree with Alexis, who is always the voice of reason, that it was disrespectful for Jews to bring this guy to a family event with nothing but Black people, knowing that he's a racist. Okay, so Alpha MC says she's here to show support. She doesn't watch the show. Okay, so yes, she brought a known racist to this event. But to be fair, Keita doesn't have any issues with Jules. She welcomed her with a hug, so she doesn't have any issues with Jules. Obviously, some of the ladies does have, issues with Jules, but she's still deciding to come and enjoy the ladies that, she is cool with, like Sade, you know, and Keita. So after Jules showed up, Sherelle stopped playing volleyball to go over and gossip with the ladies who were just chilling on the sideline, Ashley, Portia, and MJ. So Sade noticed, announced to the girls that she was pregnant. And of course, they started screaming, saying that they knew it, especially Sherelle, because remember, they called her out at the backyard, what do they call it? The glamping event that Ashley hosted. So at that event, Sherelle, wanted Ashley to go get a pregnancy test because she was sure that, Sade was pregnant, and some of the other ladies felt like she was pregnant too. So they were like, BITCH, I knew it. So they had a blast with that. But she did share with them, she didn't want to share the news until she got, to a certain point in her pregnancy before making that announcement. So they asked her how far along she was, and she said 15 weeks. And Chosen also shared the news with the guys, and they were happy for him as well. Even though I think they've been together like 9 years, they're not married. But I'm not sure what the holdup is, but they seem to have a really good relationship. And Mama B said, but that's why some of the ladies call her a culture vulture. Exactly, because they feel the same way about Jules that they do about this professional boxer, that she's a culture vulture, that she's low key racist. So, yeah, birds of a feather flock together. Hey, to Latrice, thank you so much for being here, my good sis. Okay, so I was thinking to myself, dang, another pregnant woman on the show because we got Keita, we got Portia, and now we have Sade on the show that's pregnant. And, again, Keita has already had her baby. Um, I don't think Sade has. So, not Sade, Portia, but I'll have to double check on that. So, in the next scene, Sherelle hosted an event that was right on the beach at this place called Casa Nails, which is a hot spot in Miami. So again, the entire squad showed up, and a few extras was in attendance. So when they arrived, they didn't see Sherelle because she was on a boat slash yacht with some realtors and investors, and she planned to make her grand entrance. Okay, Sherelle got to do it big. She got to do her grand entrance. So she was just chilling out on the boat with these gentlemen, waiting for everybody to arrive so that she can make her grand entrance. So, and Stoney's daughter was also at this event. She came with MJ and Stoney. So Sherelle makes her grand entrance, and Philip asked her where was Chad because people are starting to question her about Chad because they're starting to notice that Chad is being around less and less. And she said that he was working, but like I said, we're starting to see her relationship falling apart. So the baby bumps were on display, with the exception of Keita because she couldn't make it to this event. So Stoney continues to gossip about Sherelle, which is fair game after what Sherelle did to her. Like, I'm so here for Stoney calling Sherelle out on her shit because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You get what you give. So Stoney told MJ that Sherelle and Chad have an open relationship and they allow each other to date other people. And their relationship is basically like a PR relationship, which is what we've all been thinking, right? So now we kind of get our confirmation. So MJ asked if she really believed that and told her that, that was a crazy accusation. So Stoney said that's what is being swirled around town. And now that she mentions it, you know, like I said, that's exactly what it's giving in present day. So, nonetheless, MJ said that Sherelle is her boss. So, why don't she just go and get her so that they can have a conversation? And that's what she does. So, Stoney goes to get Sherelle and her, and I'm sorry, MJ goes to get Sherelle and her, and Stoney sits down and have a private conversation. So, Stoney point blank asks Sherelle, or should I say, told Sherelle that there are things swirling around that her and Chad's relationship, they have an open door relationship where there's smoke, there's fire. So Sherelle said, so what you say, bitch? And she said, I didn't say anything, bitch. And Sherelle wanted her to clarify, what she had just stated. So Stoney said, to clarify that it's an arranged relationship and they got together because it looked good on paper and business wise for the looks and the aesthetics. Okay. So it was also rumored that he likes to have threesomes. Sherelle looked really shocked that, Stoney chose this time to call her out. But this is exactly what Sherelle does. Every time they have an event, she uses that time to call out all of her friends that she has an issue with. So Sherelle, like I said, looked shocked at the words that were coming out of Stoney's mouth. And Sherelle said, "Oh, he's having threesomes." And Stoney said, you know, with other parties. So basically saying that, not that you're included in the threesomes, but he likes to have threesomes with some of the other, with other people. Okay. And Sherelle said, "Oh, that's what the blogs are saying," as if she's not reading the blogs. And Stoney said, "Yes." So Sherelle wanted to know why Stoney was telling her this and what's the issue. The issue is, you went around, bringing up old, stuff that had been circulating on the blogs about me. So, hey, it's your turn, sis. But what Stoney should have said is because, bitch, you all up in my business when you got skeletons in your own closet. But what she said was she wants to make sure that the circle she's a part of is solid. Sherelle seems to think that Stoney has not changed, and Stoney can definitely say the same for her. But whatever the case may be, Sherelle was trying to deflect in her confessionals and said that she doesn't have time to focus on what everybody else thinks in their opinions. So basically, that's just her way of deflecting, when everybody knows that it's true. Everybody knows that it's true. And like Mama B's, I think it was said on another live that Chad changes women like some people changes socks. Hey, all things Helen G, thank you so much for being here. But she got time to be a mean girl and be all up in everybody else's business. Sherelle, make it make sense. Like if you know you got all of these skeletons in your own closet, like sis, you need to pipe down and focus on what you got going on at home. And Helen G said she's new here. Thank you so much, Helen, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. So the bottom line is Tony wanted Sherelle to know that they are not that different. Of course, Sherelle disagrees and says that her situation is different. But keep in mind, Sherelle never denied it. Okay. She never denied the fact that her and her man are in some type of PR relationships that, he's stepping out and he likes to have threesomes. She never really denied it. But she did inform Stoney that they are together. There's no arrangement and it is what it is. And she said, whatever is done in the dark will come to light. And that was kind of strange for her to make that statement. Like she knew eventually that it was coming to the light. And that's exactly what Stoney is saying. It has come to the light. And Stoney is just calling a spade and letting Sherelle know that, because Sherelle think her shit don't stink. So she's letting Sherelle know, baby, you know, we have a lot in common. So I was on Sherelle's live. I believe it was on Sunday. And, Sherelle was traveling to Africa, her and a group of her friends. So in this present day, Sherelle, she was actually going to Lagos, Nigeria. So in this day and time, Sherelle is living her best life. She's doing a lot of club appearances, traveling around. She was going to different parts of Africa. So it looks like that, her and Chad are separated, but still continuing to be friends because at the end of the day, they benefit off of each other. She has definitely said that she has definitely said that when she got with Chad, he elevated her business or whatever the case may be, and the same for Chad. She definitely helped him with his podcast and things like that. So they have elevated each other. Um, yes, to Latrice, Chad is her baby daddy. They do have one child together, and I think that makes 11 for Chad. He has 10 kids, and I think he has, outside of Sherelle, so a total of 11. And then I think he has four baby mamas. So Chad is, oof, that man got a lot of kids. So that is definitely something that Sherelle has to consider when it comes to marrying this man. He has a lot of kids and a lot of baby mamas. And, although Sherelle did say that she doesn't have any issues with the baby mamas, they usually call her when they need to discuss the children, which is good. She don't have any issues as of yet. But keep in mind, they're not married. To Latrice says, good grief. Yes. And also Keita's husband. I think he has 9 or 10 kids and a lot of baby mamas. Like, that's the thing with getting with these ball players. It's just like they have babies all over the place. And Mama B says Chad is for the streets. Okay. And kicking it with Courtney says Chad don't want to be married. Honestly, I don't think neither one of them wants to be married because I think that Sherelle is enjoying her independence. Sherelle has already been married. She's already experienced, the housewife type of deal. So she's not into that at this point. And it seems like Chad has never really dated a woman that was really financially secure until he met Sherelle. So it's just like he doesn't really have anything to offer Sherelle. And sometimes men are intimidated when a woman makes more money than they do. And we all know that it's looking like Sherelle makes more money than Chad. And then the other thing is, Sherelle made it known that, she was going to put a $500,000 um, cheating clause, in her prenup. So if Chad cheats, he'll have to pay her $500,000. And everybody knows that Chad is cheating and will cheat. So basically, that was her way of pretty much putting it out there that she doesn't want to be married. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, at the end of the day, Sherelle has more to lose than Chad. So I love the way that Sherelle is not jumping into marriage with a known cheater for what? I mean, for the aesthetics of it all. Like, you don't need Chad for money. She's very successful, with her realty business. So she really doesn't need Chad. And he's already been cheating and they aren't even married yet. So why even go there? So again, every time I've seen Sherelle do an interview and Chad's name is brought up, she does start to cry. Like there's tears. And I think that's because she truly does love Chad, but she knows that she can't change Chad. Chad is going to cheat. So I think that she's going to low key continue to date Chad and they just probably won't get married. But like Stoney said, that's probably the arrangement. They have an open thing going on because we've never heard her call Chad out for cheating, although it's all over the blogs that Chad cheats. So it's looking like what Stoney said that they have some type of open arrangement. And obviously, Sherelle's probably seeing other people too, but women, like, if that's what we decide to do, step out on our man, more than likely we can do that without getting caught. But for some reason, men get caught every time. So Sherelle is probably doing the same thing because I find it strange. Out of all places, why is she hanging out in Africa? Is she on that same stuff that Portia is on, like trying to find a rich African man? Like, what's up with that? So it's giving me, you're trying to find somebody who has more coins than you. And I'm not mad at it because, again, some men are intimidated by women that make more money. And, on, I believe it was the last episode, Sherelle shared with, I believe it was Keita, if I'm not mistaken, that her and Chad got into a disagreement after having sex because Chad told her that he was hungry. And she told Chad that, I'm hungry too. So Chad's thinking like, you my woman, like you need to get your ass in that kitchen and cook me something to eat. But she wasn't on that because keep in mind, she ain't on that house, um, what do you call it? Stay at home wife stuff because she got money, and she don't have to do all of that. So that was an issue. So Chad ended up going to McDonald's, getting something to eat, and he didn't bring anything back for Sherelle. So she thought that was kind of foul, you know. And Toot Latrice said, Chad good with picking up women at Publix. Girl, I know you lying. Not picking up at Publix. So, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about Chad and Sherelle's relationship other than what they show on the show because I didn't know who they were until I started watching this show. Okay. So I didn't watch the last show that she was in Tampa, selling Tampa. I didn't watch that. So, I'm kind of unfamiliar. Um, and she also said Africa is the new playground. That's what I'm thinking. To Latrice. Hey, Aunt Tricia, thank you so much for being here. So, all of these, successful women are going to Africa to find their rich husbands. Like, I don't know if Portia has set a new standard for these ladies because, even Phaedra was down to go to Africa with Portia. So, it seems like that's the thing to do. But it's just such a shame that they're going all the way to Africa to find them. You know what I'm saying? If you can't find them here where you live, like, what are you going to do? Go back and forth to Africa? Like, I don't get that whole thing. But anyway, so yeah, that was how that, whole thing. So the high point of this episode was the volleyball game, which went over, really well. Everybody had a good time, from how it ended. But keep in mind, that was the last episode. There was no drama. So I'm hoping that this show gets a second season. Now, when I was online with, when Sherelle went live on Instagram, a lot of people in the comments were asking Sherelle, did they get a second season? But I never seen her respond. So I'm not sure. And if anybody in the chat knows if it was picked up for a second season, please drop it down in the chat because I haven't seen anything that says that it's been picked up for a second season. But I did see a couple of the girls posting their ranking, in the Netflix top 10 because, Netflix does the ranking and shows the top 10 shows that are being watched on Netflix. So they did make the top 10 ranking. So it seems like the show is doing pretty well. And I actually like the show because even though they do have, a little drama on the show, they're very adamant about no fighting. You know what I'm saying? They can, have their words, but there was only one fight on the show, and that was Jules, the only white chick in the bunch. And they really felt some kind of way because she did it at a black establishment. And Miami is very racist, so that could have went terribly wrong. So other than a little drama here and there, I do feel like this show does display black excellence. I understand that when it's reality TV, you're going to see some type of drama. Anytime you get women together, more than likely it's going to be some drama. If there's, any, five or more women in the room, there's going to be some type of drama. So, but they always come back together after their drama, with the exception of Jules. I think they want Jules out, but she's still trying to hang on for whatever reason. And honestly, I just wish Jules will find her people because these just aren't her people. And she needs to find her people and move away from this group because she really doesn't fit in. There's too much tension and she just needs to move on. So, yes. Oh my gosh, we did it. I got through Wags to Riches So that was the last episode. So now we just have to wait and see if they get picked up for a second season. But we all know that takes some time. So I will be adding another show to my lineup next week. Since that was the end of that, of course, I'll still continue to cover Married to Medicine. And then I will announce next week which show I will also be recapping now that that's done. And Helen G said, will do. And she's speaking to everybody in the chat. So, yes, guys, that is my time and that is my lunch break. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right now. And thank you all so much for being here. And if you have not done so already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. And if you just happen to be catching the replay, make sure you do the same and like this video and subscribe to my channel. Again, thanks so much for watching and bye for now.